once again, thanks everyone for joining us today. And again, for the introduction, this is the program that is created because I wanted to have an environment for us to practice our English, and also I would like to have a community where we will share the knowledge that we have learned from WIT, from WIT in English, and hopefully eventually we will create a community where any English speaking friends who cannot understand Vietnamese can have a tool, a support to have a deeper understanding of the valuable knowledge that we have learned at WIT. And this program we will have it every day, and ideally about an hour or two, depending on how the Zoom go. But I would like to have it in at least 1 hour. And during the meeting, feel free to raise your hand if you have any question or if you want to share. And toward the end of the presentation, we can also have an extra time to share what we find interesting, valuable, and actionable for the presentation. And throughout the presentation, I will go very similar to the 21 days of understanding your inner self. And the first one is the sixth barrier. So if you can see my share screen here, I will write it.
It's a little bit it's a little bit blurry.
Oh yeah, I'm aware of that. It's just the webcam. It will focus once I start writing things down. But thanks for letting me know. So let's go ahead and write out the sixth barrier. To get my camera to focus. This is it's been acting up like this too. There.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like autofocus and stuff. All
Okay.
right. If you can have a piece of paper like what I have right here, let's draw a stick figure. And thanks, Jasmine, for letting me know about the blueberry. Right. And I would like to invite you to draw a barrier around this stick figure person. And I do have a lot of different colors here with me. So I will use 6 different colors to represent the sixth barrier. And this is one of my favorite topic to talk about. And this is extremely important because in life, there are many things that we would like to do, but we are unable to do because of these barriers. And most of us don't even know that these barriers exist. We only have the experience where we wanted to do something, but we are unable to, and we just don't know why. This the 6 barriers help us understand deeply what it is and how to overcome it. And once we understood it and overcome it, we will be able to accomplish whatever we set our mind to. And it is very, very, very powerful to to understand this. And let's start with the very first one. Turn off my heater real quick. So number one is called limiting belief. Some people even call it self-doubt, but I would like to use the term limiting belief. So, what is limiting belief? Limiting belief is when you want to do something, but or you have a dream and you tell your family about it, your friends, your loved one, but they wouldn't support it, and then you start over time, you start doubting yourself. You start to having a limit in your belief, and you're unable to overcome it. Um, for example, let's say I might not understand everything about the sixth barrier, and if I have the limiting belief that I don't know anything about this, then I wouldn't be able to start sharing this knowledge. But that might not be true, because I should have some understanding. And by not limiting myself to the belief that I need to know everything, I was able to share with you on this six barriers. And another story that I have learned in a psychology class, which I like a lot, is that they talked about how to train an elephant. So the way that people are able to train elephant to obey them, to not run away, even though they only tie a very small rope on the elephant leg. And the way that they was able to do that is by start tying the rope to the elephant leg when the elephant was very young. And when the elephant tried to break out, tried to get away, it wasn't able to because the rope is just too strong. And after many attempts when the elephant was younger, eventually the elephant stopped. The elephant gave up on the idea that it can escape. And when the elephant grow bigger, grow more powerful, and it can easily break away from that rope, from that chain, but it's still not breaking out because deep in the elephant mind, it has a limiting belief that there is no way that it can break through those limitations, and the elephant will just stay in there. And this is one of the biggest um, barrier that's stopping us from getting to where we want to be. The second barrier that I would like to introduce to everyone is called the fear of failure. Fear of failure. Fear of failure is the fear that you might not be able to accomplish your goal, right? For example, you haven't even started on your project. For example, let's say this presentation right here. Let's say I haven't started this, and when I first had the idea, let's just say for an example that I fear that this might not be successful, and this is actually occurring a lot to all the people mind. Even for me, when I had this idea, and this is stopping me from doing this for a while too, but I finally did it. And thank you for supporting us. So the fear of failure is the fear that we might not be able to accomplish what we truly want, and because of this fear, a lot of people just gave up at the very start. And this is one of the six barriers that's stopping us from achieving, accomplishing what we truly wanted in life. And the third one is called the fear. Is another fear, by the way. The fear of judgment. The fear of judgment is the fear that kind of engraved in our brain because whenever we have a big dream, right? Whenever we have something that we wanted to change about ourselves, we often share it to our loved one. We often share it to our family member, our friends, and they would judge us. They would tell us how hard it is because you know what? They also have this sixth barrier that they don't even know of, and they uh, they force their perception on you. So often, most of the time, people would judge other. And this had been happening since the beginning of time. And therefore, this fear of judgment, this barrier, is very much deeply um, engraved in our mind. And this is one of the important barrier that we need to break through in order to grow tremendously. The fourth one is called lack of prerequisites. I like this word. It sounds fancy, but pretty much you just don't have everything you needed to get to where you want it. Let me go ahead and just write this down. Prerequisites. This with STES. There you go. So lack of prerequisites is the the illusion that you don't have everything needed to to do what you wanted to do. For example, let's say for this presentation here, I might afraid that I don't have a Zoom meeting, or I might afraid that I don't have my paper and pen ready, or better yet, in a bigger project, let's say if you want to start your own business and you know that you need $100,000 to start your business, but you only have 50,000. So most people would think that, hey, I don't have 100,000. There's no way that I can start my own business. But reality is, if they want it bad enough, they will be able to find a way. They will be able to, let's say, borrow money from friends and family, or they will do whatever it takes to get the remaining 50,000 that they need to start their business. Therefore, the lack of prerequisite is what's stopping a lot of people from get to where they want to be. And they could just simply break through this barrier and get whatever they need to materialize their vision. And yeah, this is one of the barrier, one of the six that stopping people. Another big one, another big one that I would like to share, which is number 5 out of 6 of the barrier, is called the lack of knowledge. And I'm sure you can start seeing the theme here. There was the lack of prerequisite, and then here's the lack of knowledge. And the key is this here. I'm going to highlight it so that we can see it better. Lack of prerequisite, and now there's the lack of knowledge. And you see, when we do things, we tend to think that we don't know much about it, or we feel like we don't have what it takes. But reality is, because we don't have it, that's why we even have the desire to do it. And oftentimes when you have everything you needed to do something, often people just don't even think of doing it, right? For example, let's say you already have your family members cook food for you, often they get everything ready and they even cook it for you. And you see, you have everything needed. You have all the food ready. You have someone that can help you cook, but then you don't want to do it, even though you have everything ready, because it was no longer interest to you. You can just let somebody else do it, or you just don't have the desire to pursue it. Therefore, the two barrier here, the lack of prerequisite or the lack of knowledge, it might appear to you as a barrier, but in reality, if you can just change your mindset, if you can utilize these two barriers, it can actually be your strength rather than your weaknesses, because you don't have everything needed. You can actually encouraging yourself to push harder, and these is definitely one of the trap, but no worry, there's a way. And because of the first five barriers, I would like to introduce you to the sixth one, which is the most important one. And this is the key to your success as well as your failure. But because we understand these deeply, we will be able to utilize them. We will be able to get to where we want it. So number six would be lack of vision. I'm going to write the word vision a little bit bigger. All right. Lack of vision is the lack of believing that something is possible. And there's a link between the sixth barrier and the first one, because the first one is the limiting belief. And because there's a limiting belief, it causes the lack of vision. And you will hear the word vision very, very often, especially if you are in business. You will hear the word of visionary leader. So who are the visionary leader? Steve Jobs, for example, he was the one that one of the founder of Apple, like the phone that I use right here. If you're familiar with Apple product, and the amazing thing about Steve Jobs is that after he left, Apple didn't do very well. They struggled. They was about to go out of business. But the second that Steve Jobs returned, he had the vision. He know exactly what needed to rebuild the company, and he did. And because of that, he was able to make Apple one of the wealthiest, one of the most valuable, and one of the most powerful company in the world. And this is the power of the sixth barrier once you understand it. Because you know what? Once you can break through all of this barrier, you will be able to materialize your vision. You will be able to get to where you want it. And picking up, breaking through the sixth barrier, I would like to share with you one of my favorite story, and arguably the most important story of all. And this is the story of one simple man who had literally broke the belief of the world. He's not only breaking through the limiting belief of himself, he actually broke the limiting belief of the entire world. So if you can look at the number one here, the limiting belief, Roger Bannister is actually broke all limiting belief of the entire world. And the way that he did that was what going to be shown in this story. Okay. So in the 1950s, the entire world believed that there is no way, it is impossible for anyone, any man to run 1 mile under 4 minutes. And for my Vietnamese friend, if you don't know how long is 1 mile, 1 mile is the measurement of about 1.6 kilometer. And all the scientists, all the doctors, they believe that there's no way that anyone at that time can run 1 mile under 4 minutes. And the reason that they were saying that because the best runner at that time had tried many times, but the fastest he could run was 4 minutes and 3 seconds. He had tried many times. He could not break his record. That is 4 minutes and 3 seconds. So all the researcher, all the doctor, they did study and they start showing how the human leg, the way that the knees structure, and the way that the nutrition operate in our body. There's no way. It was just impossible for anyone to run 1 mile under 4 minutes. And Roger Bannister is the man, an Englishman, because he's in England, and for some reason he just think that he can do it. He think that running 1 mile under 4 minutes is possible, but no one believed him, and no one was doing it at that time. So Roger Bannister said that I would do it. I will run 1 mile under 4 minutes. And he wasn't even a professional athlete. He was just a student, and a master program student in Oxford, England. And yeah, he doesn't have the physical ability when he announced it, but he started running. He started working on it. And the interesting about Roger Bannister is that he often run in his mind. He often had the vision that he will get to the finishing line prior to 4 minutes. There's always the image of 3 minutes something in his head, and the clock never tick to 4. It's always at 3. And on May 6, 1954, on a cold, even a very wet day in Oxford, England, when everyone came there to see Roger Bannister fail. They came there to make fun of him, to see a crazy man that attempting to do the impossible. And Mr. Roger Bannister, at the age of 25, did the unthinkable thing. He broke the 4-minute barrier, and he was able to get to the finish line at 3 minutes, 59 seconds and a half. So just a heartbeat, he wouldn't make it, but he was able to make it exactly that. And people was amazed. People didn't think that was possible. But there it is. There's the man that actually did it, Mr. Roger Bannister. And he was able to break through the limiting belief of the entire world. It was never a question to Mr. Roger Bannister, because he always believed that it was possible. And listen closely to this part, everybody, because this is the important one. This is where the story is getting better. Because shortly after Mr. Roger Bannister did the 1 mile under 4 minutes, just a years after that, there was 16 runner that not only achieved the same goal running 1 mile under 4 minutes, they actually broke the record of Mr. Roger Bannister. How is that possible, right? How is it possible that hundreds years prior to that, nobody was able to did it? But the second that Mr. Roger Bannister broke the record at 3 minutes 59 seconds and a half. 16 other runners not only achieved the same thing, they actually broke the record. And crazier, just 3 years after that, right? There were 300 people that was able to break the record. And in 1954, after Mr. Roger Bannister got to that record, soon after that, there was 1,400 professional male athletes broken that record as well. So from the belief that it was impossible, now the entire world were trying to break that record. And from not a single man was able to do it. Now we had thousands. And this is the power, everybody, because oftentimes we have the limiting belief that something was impossible. And it doesn't have to be that way. The power of the mind is that anything is possible. I'm gonna telling you this right now too. Whatever you might think that is impossible, it's just impossible to you. It's not impossible to other. And the reason that I'm saying this is because I had the privilege to learn about magic, right? I don't know if anybody here is interested in magic. So the magician is a person who performs something seemed to be impossible, but he was able to do it. He was able to show it to everybody in the audience. Like he can levitate, right? He can fly. He can make things disappear. So to a lot of people, it was impossible to do those, but through certain technique, he was able to create it, whether it is an illusion or not. The point is, it is possible if you really, really want it, if you truly want it to make it a reality. And I'm going to prove it to you too. I'm not just saying this because this is actually scientifically proven. And I'm sure, well, I'm not sure, I don't know if everybody is familiar with this, but there's a term in medical called placebo effect. So the placebo effect is an effect where the patient, right, they take in a pill that doesn't really help with their condition at all. So let's say if you have a cold, if you're sneezing, you don't feel good about yourself, you have like high fever, and you need to take some medication to help with the condition. But instead of giving you a real pill that can help with your fever, the doctor gave you some water pill, for example. Let's say there's a mistake. He gave you just a water pill, a sugar pill, and you take it. And you know what? A lot of people, when they take that, they still feel better. And there's many research studies have done it. People report that after they take the placebo effect pill, they starting to feel better. And the crazy thing is, in some cases, they are actually feeling better than the real medication. And you know what? That is the power of the mind. That's the power of having vision. That's the power of having belief rather than limiting belief. Because everything happen in your mind will materialize in the world, will materialize in realities. And understanding that, having the understanding of the sixth barrier, you will be able to do the impossible. And I would like to to make another drawing. Imagine right here, right? Imagine you see the sixth barrier on my paper. Imagine that this is like an egg, a chicken egg. And if we are making the impact from the outside in, let's draw it. Say we make the impact on the outside in. That would mean that we are about to use it at food, right? Making an egg omelet or something. But however, if the force is from the inside out, then it will be life, because that's how the chicken, right, breaking through the shell after the 21-day incubation periods. So instead of food, it is becoming life. You will have a little chicken. And similarly, if we do not break through these barriers consciously to giving ourselves life, then the world will break us. And generally, people tend to change after they experience suffering. However, there are some who do not, right? Instead of waiting for pain and suffering to happen, we can choose to change. We can choose love and kindness. Because for those who did not change, the worst kind of suffering will come for them. And if they still do not change that, then losses will get them to change. So why do we have to wait for pain and suffering and losses to motivate us to change? Why can't we just love ourselves and respect ourselves and make the conscious choice that we will change ourselves? And this is the reason that we need to understand our inner self to elevate our wisdom. Because a person who have a clear understanding of one inner self, they will have to break through this barrier so that they will grow bigger and larger than life. And let's on that note, let me draw this. In fact, let's use the red one because it will represent the forces from the inside out, the outside in. If we do that, the person in here will be happier, will become bigger, with bigger leg, bigger arm, and bigger belly button, you see. And maybe they will grow some hair. 3 pieces to be exact. And this is the goal, everybody. Throughout this program, we will break through all these 6 barriers. We will show you the potential of yourself. Just like Mr. Roger Bannister did. He didn't have any of these 6 limiting beliefs, you see. Mr. Roger Bannister, there was no limiting belief in his mind when he decided to run 1 mile under 4 minutes. 4 miles. Yeah, that's right. 1 mile under 4 minutes. He didn't fear that failure because he had a clear vision in his head that he will make it to the finishing line under 4 minutes. He didn't care about fear of judgment. The entire world was against him. The entire world believed that it was impossible to run 1 mile under 4 minutes. They even did like research study. The doctor told him, no, it is impossible. Don't hurt yourself. He didn't care. And he didn't think anything about the lack of prerequisites. He didn't think that he's not strong enough for anything. He just do it. He just started exercising He just started running. He just started working on it, and he does not care about the lack of knowledge. He was not a professional runner. He was not a professional athlete. He don't have as much information as other. And you know what? This might be his blessing right here, the lack of knowledge, because he didn't have the expert opinion of the doctor or the researcher. Therefore, he had no fear. There's no fear. There's no lack of anything to him. And the most important thing is Mr. Roger Bannister had the vision. He had the vision of his growth, you see. He never believed, he never see himself as this little guy. He always had the vision that I am big, I am strong, I will be able to, I will be able to get to my vision. I will be able to get to my vision right here. So no barriers. And again, I have to mention this again like one more time because it is so important. The most important point about the story and the most important point about the sixth barrier is after Mr. Roger Bannister was able to do it, after he was able to run 1 mile under 4 minutes, there was hundreds of other people broke his record. And eventually there was thousands of people broke his record in the 1950s. And in the present time, it is standard for any professional athlete to run 1 mile under 4 minutes. It is no longer anything special. And you see, if you can break through whatever sixth barrier that you needed or you wanted to break through, not only that it will benefiting yourself, it will also benefiting others, right? And this is the presentation of understanding your inner self. This is why it is so important for all of us to have a deep understanding of this knowledge in English, because this is how we are going to share it with the entire world. Not only we saying this, not only we just talking about the sixth barrier, we ourselves will break through the sixth barrier. We will show the entire world that it is possible. It is possible to be happy, to find peace. It is possible to be successful. And in the beginning, people might make fun of us. People might judge us. And people might come up with all kind of excuses of how important it is. But just like Mr. Roger Bannister, we will prove it to them. We will show them that it is possible. We will show them that not only it is possible to be happy, to be in peace with yourself, it is also possible for them to do it as well. It is possible to materialize what you love, what you need. And we will do it, everyone. And yeah, thanks for being here. That is my sharing for today for the sixth barrier. And each day I will try to keep the presentation, the sharing within 1 hour, because I know all our friends in Vietnam have to go to bed, and all of our friends in the US or in Europe will have to go to work. So I will try to keep things within 15 minutes. So if you have like any thing that you like to share, anything you find interesting, actionable, valuable, or if you just want to say hi, feel free to raise your hand and comment. Otherwise, I encouraging all of us to continue and to build this environment for us to speak in English. And this is just a great time for all of my friends in America to exercise as well. You know, you don't have to open your webcam. You can also just listen to us, just join us. You know, share share with us your energy, and then you can do some exercise so you can be healthier. Just like this little guy right here, you gotta be stronger so you can break through all the six barriers. So physical strength is important too, and eventually we will share with you in detail how important it is. But yeah, join us on this journey. This is also like a mission to not only sharing the knowledge, but doing it, becoming a better version, become the best version of yourself. Because not only you will benefit from this, your family member, your loved one will benefit from this. And you know what? Your friend or someone that you don't even know of will benefit from this. And from my own experience, this changed lives, and they will have huge impacts. And I can see that Jasmine have raised her hand here. Feel free to unmute yourself, Jasmine.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here today. And thank you, Ben, for sharing this presentation. I had heard this presentation so many times from other teachers and from you as well. However, I still want to learn more and, remind myself about this limiting belief or, overall the six barriers. Just because we create our barriers every day, like myself as well. And I realize that sometimes we know about this, but we don't really imply this in our daily life. For example, I had a realization last time that I can sing and I love to sing, but I kind of shy in front of people, so I tend to just like sing for myself or for my friend and my loved one. And I enjoy just like singing and recording what I sing, and just like maybe I can share it on Facebook, but I would never really like sing in front of the audience, like live audience. So even though I know about these barriers, but when everybody asked me to sing in front of, like 500 people, I was like, no, it's okay. I'm okay. I think I can sing, but I don't want to sing in front of people. And one of the friend asked me if I have a barrier. And right at that moment, I was like, whoa, I just now creating a barrier for myself that I know I can do it, but because I either feel like, if I sing, then maybe I could be better than other people, or maybe when I sing, then I would not be as the best that I can sing. So I stop myself for doing what I can do. And then after the friend asking me like, Jasmine, do you have a barrier? And I was like, yes. So I was thinking about that for the entire day. I was like, why, so therefore I decided to learn some new songs that I had never sung before, had never, sung in the front of everybody. So I decided to learn a song, and then the next following day or two, I came back to the group, and then I, raised my hand and asking everybody to listen to me performance in front of them, and everybody was grateful enough and very kind to listen to my song. But anyway, what I realized is, we even don't learn about the barriers, but we often creating barrier without knowing that we are creating a barrier. And therefore, the first step would be recognize that we are doing that to ourselves every day. And the minute that we realize that, like the minute that I realize that I creating a barrier for myself, I ask myself, like, why? What would be what would really be my problem? Or it's not a problem, like what would very much like be my, like, why do I do that? Why do I creating a barrier for myself? If I can do it, I do it. But if I cannot do it, I can just do it, like just try my best, and I would be able to break through the barrier, and therefore I won't have any barrier in the future. So this is my like realization, and I'm thankful that everybody listened to my realization, and hopefully like we will break through the barrier and
Hey,
realize that.
Jasmine, thanks for sharing. We have a request here that hey, we want to hear your voice there, Jasmine, for the New Year's. I think it's a request for the song Happy New Year's. So I know it's still early, but I can talk for a few minutes if you want to. You can get the setup because I know it take a while to set it up, and it might be a good idea to sing it to the new year, you know. And yeah, I love your story because I am the same, but lately I learned that just because other people have the barrier, it does not mean that we have the barrier, you see? So whoever say that, hey, now you having a barrier, reality is they are constantly having barrier. That's why they kept thinking about it. So it wasn't even you. And because they mention it, they say like, hey, you know, are you having barrier? They actually creating that to you. So they kind of like forcing their reality onto your reality. And I didn't know of this before, but I know it's out there. And that is another reason that I am so thankful for the WIT community because there's always positivity here. People are very encouraging here. They are lifting you up rather than pushing you down. And and yeah, this is why I'm doing this as well because I want to have a community like that in English where we supporting other people rather than putting them down. You know, even if jokingly, just like Jasmine shared, you know, hey, maybe she was about to sing, but because of whoever that is, they like, hey, are you having the barriers? And they make it clearer, they make it a reality. And that is another important reason that we needed to understand the six barriers because sometimes we unconsciously like say it or do it, and it's affecting ourselves and others as well. So by knowing this, we will know that hey, maybe I shouldn't say that, or maybe I shouldn't do it because you know what? The person that we speak the most to, that we talk the most to is ourselves, right? Every day, even if you don't say anything, you constantly talk to yourself. And this is the important thing that we need to learn about the principle of light, which I will share with everybody tomorrow. And once you understand the principle of light, you will know how important it is to light up your inner self so that there is light in you. There's the protection. So contrary to the barrier, this contrary to the sixth barrier is what's stopping you, right? The principle of light will be the tool that brighten your day. So when people forcing darkness on you, just like Jasmine's story, where the guy say, "Hey, are you having no barriers?" He actually forcing darkness on her. But let's say if you are the light, if you are bright enough, nobody can do it. You see, for me, for example, I'm lucky to be able to be aware of it, to work on it. So I don't care if people judge me. You know, there was no fear of judgment because that is their reality. It's not mine. I'm very I'm very conscious of myself. You know, I'm loving myself. I love my friends and family, and I know they love me. So I don't care what the stranger think. And and this is what is oh, Jasmine says she is ready. Nice. But this is what it is, everybody. This is so important. And thank you so much for being here.